Welcome to Yoga at Home. My name is Laura with TC Fit. All you'll need for today's yoga practice is some flat floor space, a yoga mat or bath towel, and some quiet time to yourself. Let's begin lying on our mat, feet flat, knees bent. We'll spend our first few moments of class practicing our breath, being actively mindful of how our breath feels as it comes in and out of our bodies. Allow your breath to enter through your nose, inhaling, directing your breath deep and low into the very bottom of the torso of your body, letting your belly rise, allowing your lungs to fill. As you exhale, notice how your body softens. Your rib cage settles, your belly lessens, lightens, loosens up. Notice the space across the front of your shoulders, through your collarbones, the base of your neck. Allow that space to soften. I challenge you to bring your mind into the moment that we're in. It's okay to give yourself permission to set aside what you were working on, what you have coming up. Allow the rest of your day to melt away. You have control over the moment that you're in right now. Let's lengthen our arms over our head and stretch the bottoms of your feet away from you. Reach tall, make yourself as long as you possibly can be, stretching your hands clasped overhead. And from here, sweep your arms around and draw your left knee up and in towards your chest. Drawing your knee in close. Keeping the bottom foot on your right side reaching away from you. Let's go ahead and trade sides, lengthening our left leg long, drawing our right knee up and in towards our chest. So nice big pull, kind of giving the back of the leg a big hug. And now float both knees in and up and give yourself a rock from side to side, moving at your own speed, using the space at the base of your spine, top of your pelvis against your mat to give yourself a little personal back rub, placing some pressure on those tissues. Our bodies thrive with movement. The way we're put together, it allows us and it permits us to move well. It's a big part of being a human being. A lot of our day allows us to sit perfectly still. So moving during yoga it's like feeding your body good fuel. From here, hang on to your knees and roll yourself up to a seated position or turn to your side and press yourself up. We'll reconvene on all fours. In this shape, you're welcome to take fists for wrists, turning your fingers underneath you to create a flat space along the back of your wrist, or hands flat with fingers spread nice and wide. We move into cat and cow, lifting our chest, pointing our tail towards the sky in cow, and opposing movement into cat, rounding our spine, belly button reaching up and in towards our chest. Inhaling and exhaling as we move between these two shapes. Our aim is to feel movement along every single segment of our spine. Our spine is kind of like a really tall stack of Oreos. There's the hard cookie discs and the vertebrae, I got ahead of myself. And the filling, the frosting, is like the discs in between each one of our bony vertebrae. And we're moving both sides of that stack, back and forth, and getting all the discs a little bit of blood flow, kind of making them juicier, more supple, better able to move in large ranges of motion, slow and steady. As we complete this last cat and cow, allow your spine to come back down halfway between each shape. So that neutral position, the natural curvatures of our spine are present. And from here we move into spinal balance. Bringing your right leg, left leg, right arm. Rights and lefts are hard. Aiming to stay as steady as possible. And from here we move back into our cat spine, drawing our knee towards our elbow, rounding and lengthening. We'll take this for 5 on each side. Reach, exhaling, drawing the knee and elbow in. Inhaling, stretching the arm long, 2 more repetitions. And from here we trade sides. Lengthening the opposite arm, opposite leg. Finding balance for a moment, aiming to keep our spine very steady, our stack of Oreos locked in place. Avoiding the wiggles as best as you're able. And from here, we move back into our cat spine, rounding our elbow, knee in, and lengthening long. We'll take 2 more repetitions for 5 total. From here, we'll step our hands a little bit further forward and we'll let our hips move towards our mat, creating our plank position. So this version has our knees on the mat. You're also welcome to take the high plank position. And part of the beauty of yoga is that you get to do whatever works for you and your body today. You're the only one that gets to hear that voice on the inside, so I encourage you to listen and respect what your body needs. From here, with control, lower the body towards the mat. Elbows stay nice and narrow, like you're in a really, really small space, very narrow hallway. And as we find the mat, we take Cobra, lifting our shoulders up and back, gaze moving forward. And from here we press back and into child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together. From our child's pose, let's lift our chest back up and into high plank. Lengthening through the knees if you'd like. And challenging our system by turning into side plank. I've turned to my left side, making sure we keep the hip elevated. Hold and breathe on the inside and outside edges of our feet. Staggered with our legs, keeping the bottom hip elevated. And as we turn back to the mat, let's step our left foot forward and allow our back knee to find the mat. And again, rotating. Modified crescent lunge. From here, let's draw our fingers of our left hand over and cross, reaching out past the edge of our mat, and then rotating back up. We'll take this rotation for 5. Two more times. And last one. Let's plant our left hand, step our left knee back, and allow ourselves to settle into child's pose. From here, we move into side plank on the other side, Bringing our chest up, finding that high plank position. This is also easily modifiable with the knees on the mat. You can turn to the side with bottom knee down, look like this, or you can have that other leg long. Hold and breathe, keeping our bottom hip up and away from our mat. Hold for 2 more breaths. Draw the right hand back to the mat, and as we do this, let's step the right foot forward, allowing our back knee to find the mat, and rotating right arm tall, and reach over and across. Crescent lunge with rotation, high to low, creating all sorts of length through our hips, through our spine, and lots of tissues moving. Exhaling into rotation, breathing in as we reach tall. Last one with this side. Let's bring our hand back to the mat, stepping our front foot backwards. Let's lift the hips into downward facing dog. In our down dog, we think this sort of as a triangular shape. Hips stretching tall, that top point of our triangle. Our balls of our feet, the other corner of the triangle, and the heels of our hands is the third. And each one of those legs of the triangle is long, lengthened, and steady. Hips stretching up, heels reaching towards the mat. They may never get there, and that's okay. From here we move into sun salutation, stepping the feet forward towards our hands, finding forward fold. This very first one, we'll stay put for a moment, allowing your head to hang heavy. You're welcome to bring hands to opposite elbows. From forward fold, lifting our chest partway up, flattening our spine, monkey, and folding forward again. From forward fold, we stretch the wings out wide, fingertips out, chest up, into mountain. Draw our hands to heart center and settle into chair. Palms pressing against one another, fingers spread wide, reaching tall into mountain, and exhale, swan dive. Inhaling halfway lift to monkey, that flat long spine, and exhale, fold. Planting our hands, let's step back into plank, high or low. Slow, controlled lower, elbows sliding at our sides, taking our half series, it's our cobra, or upward facing dog, your choice. And press back, down dog. Moving into our warrior sequence, we begin with our left side. If you'd like to take 3-legged dog before we step forward, that's with the left leg elevated in the sky. You're welcome to take that option. Bringing our left knee towards our nose. Back heel spins to find the mat at about a 45-degree angle. And you stretch your fingertips up and into warrior one. It's a very active but still pose. Those two words don't seem to go together, but it depends on the way you think about how your body is moving. You're moving in a way that is very controlled. You're never actually perfectly still. Fingers are stretching tall. Arms are narrow towards the ears, hips are sinking low, and feet are imagining trying to stretch out our mat, making our mat longer from front to back. From our warrior one, we allow our arms to settle into warrior two. Arms parallel with our mat. Shoulders are relaxed out of the ears. Fingertips reaching towards the front of our mat. Back fingertips reaching towards the back of our mat. And from our warrior two, we lengthen our front leg and tip forward into triangle. In triangle, our vision can be down towards our front foot, or if you want to challenge your balance a little bit, you can change where your eyes go. And that definitely changes the balance challenge. You can rotate your head up towards your top arm. From our triangle, today we go back up and over, adding the bend back into our front leg, into reverse warrior. Back arm can reach behind the body, can rest on your back leg. You can bring your fingers towards one another for a bind if you'd like as well. Reaching our top arm up and over, hold and balance. Front foot finding the mat in all corners. From here, we cartwheel the arms back to our mat, right, left. Step our front foot back and into plank. Elbows sliding at our sides as we lower slow and in control. Taking our cobra or up dog and press back, down dog. Moving on to our right side, if you'd like to take that three-legged dog option, stretching your right leg towards the sky, you're welcome to do so. Draw our right knee towards our nose, this time stepping forward and finding our warrior one shape. A warrior of strength. Aiming to keep our ribs stacked right above our hips, fingers stretching into the sky while shoulders settling towards our mat. Back leg straight and strong, front knee challenging us with as much bend as we're able to command. Cellular arms into warrior two. Holding the shape, maintaining our balance, and lengthen the front leg. You tip forward into triangle. Vision can be up towards your top hand or down towards your front foot. From our triangle pose, we'll hold for 2 more breaths before heading into reverse warrior, challenging our positioning, going from low to high, adding the bend back to the knee, reaching your right arm up and over, back arm landing on your back leg or behind the body. Challenge you to add a little more bend to your front leg. It requires strength of a different kind to be able to stay put here. From here, we cartwheel the arms back to the mat and step our back leg into downward facing dog. From our down dog, I invite you to widen your stance. So bringing your toes to mat width or even a little bit wider. And from here, let's step our hands back, sink our hips low, and find prayer pose. So in prayer pose, we have this really nice wide stance with our feet, elbows sort of pressing into the inside edges of our knees, palms against one another. And your prayer pose will look a lot different than mine, and that's okay. Settling in here as best as you're able. Really tall, long spine. From our prayer pose, let's unhook our hands, lift our hips, wide stance, and slowly, with control, allow your fingertips to leave the floor, stacking your spine up. Stretching tall, clasping our hands, standing side bend. With with a wider base, you can create more bend in each direction than you would if you had your feet all the way together. Creating length along the side seam of the body. From here we bring our hands to heart center, and I challenge you to squat back and down and find our prayer pose. Tall, lifted chest. Almost imagine like a puppeteer has you by a string from your collarbones, lifting that string upwards. Gaze out at eyeball height, forward and in front of you. And from our prayer pose, we'll unhook our hands and allow one knee to come forward, flipping yourself over into boat pose. So hands are behind the shoulder, or behind the knees, excuse me. Shoulders are up and back. Lifting one shin, lifting a second shin, and finding balance. You can hang on or challenge yourself by releasing your hands. Hold and balance. Let's stay here for 5 breaths. Whatever breath pace you're at, after 5 breaths, grab behind your knees and slowly work your way down onto your mat with control. And again, rock from side to side, that same rock that we did earlier. My hope is that you feel a little bit more soft, supple, pliable, rather than like a block rolling back and forth. You've got all this space moving, blood flowing, brain thinking about how your body feels, connecting our mind with our physical being. From here, let's capture the inside edges of the arches of our feet, or our big toes, our ankles, whatever you can get a hold of, that direction, and allow your knees to move wide. Happy baby. And babies are very rarely still when they're awake, so feel free to move around a little bit. And kind of move in a direction that feels good. Maybe lengthen one leg or lengthen the other leg. Give yourself a chance to explore the length that we create in Happy Baby. Move your ankles around as well. Draw the bottoms of our feet back towards one another. Grabbing your ankles. We'll bring the hands to the outside edges of our knees, drawing them together. And from here, we pull our forehead towards our knees, making ourselves compact. And from here, with control, let your limbs find the mat. Arms resting off at your sides. If it's comfortable for you to be legs flat, please do so. You're welcome to add the bend to the knees as well, the way we started our breath. We land in final Shavasana. Corpse pose. It's time for you to reflect on how your body feels. Be present in your breath. I challenge you to keep your mind right here. This time is yours. It belongs to no one else. Enjoy. to reawaken your body. Finding small ways to move. Crinkling your toes. Making fists with your hands. Rolling at your ankles and wrists. Rolling your arms and legs inward, outward, palms up, palms down. And from here, let's add a bend to the knees and roll ourselves to our right side. Create a little pillow for your head with your bottom arm. And use this spot as a transition between your yoga practice and whatever the rest of the day holds for you. Let's lengthen our top leg and press ourselves up and into a seated shape. Bringing our hands to heart center. I hope you enjoyed your time on the mat today. You're always welcome to send us a note with your comments and what you liked during class. And until we meet again on the mat, the teacher in me acknowledges the teacher in each of you. Namaste.